Hello, good evening, everyone. If you can hear me, please indicate with an emoji or drop a comment to signify that you can hear me. Okay, so I'm not getting any responses, so I want to believe that you can hear me somehow. And yeah, I want to believe that you can hear me. So I'd like to start by introducing myself. I'd like to start by introducing myself. My name is Wisdom. My name is Wisdom D. Nifa. Wisdom D. Nifa. Or Wisdom Deborah Nifa. I am a digital marketer and I specialize in social media and community management. But before digital marketing and my specialty in social media and community management, I I went to school, just so you know that people in the digital space or in the tech space, a lot of us are not dropouts or uneducated, right? So yes, I I went to school. I have a BSc in international relations, and I'm going to do more school. So yes, that's a summary of who I am with regards to what we are doing today. I started social media and community management actively 4 years ago, and during this time, I've been able to build a skill set that enables me to work as a social media manager effectively, as well as push myself, you know, in the social media management space. In that, I don't know how to put the English now. In that, I get a great deal of recommendations. To be fair, so but it's been like a lot of work, definitely, to be able to pull that off. So I've worked with brands like Big Brother Nigerian Housemates. I've worked with a contestant on Nigerian Idol, and I've worked with edtech brands. I've worked with food brands. I've worked with different types of organization. I've worked in education based off social media management alone, right? I've worked in education. I've worked in transport. I've worked in a lot that I can't mention, to be fair. So that's me in a nutshell. And yeah, so I'd like to move on to the next point, which would be, what does social media management really mean? What does social media management really mean? Management alone, when they say somebody is a manager, bank manager, hotel manager, it means that they oversee the activities that happen in the bank, right? So there are people that work with them, and then they look at what those people are doing to make sure that they are doing the right thing for the progress of the bank or for the hotel, right? That's the same thing with social media. So you are a manager, but in this case on social media. So you're overseeing activities, whether you're working with a team or you're working as an individual, you're overseeing activities that happen on social media for the brands that you work with. So for specific brands, you're overseeing the social media activities that go on there. Now, to be able to do this effectively, you obviously need what we call a skill set. Now, a skill set is just like, you cannot say um you are a mechanic, for example, and say for example you're a mechanic and you don't maybe have spanner or screwdriver. Definitely you need some things to be able to help you work, right? So that's the same thing with social media management. So when you hear skill set, it's those tools or those the knowledge that you have or those skills that you have that enable you manage social media effectively. Skills like graphic designing, skills like copywriting, skills like video creation and video editing, things like content writing and creative writing, things like even time management skills, because again, skills can be segmented into soft and hard skills. So all of these things put together and more, help you work effectively as a social media manager. So when somebody says, this money that you're charging is too much, is it not just to post? Well, it's not just to post, it's a lot of other things involved, content strategy, social media strategy, community engagement and management, DM management, etc. The list is endless, right? So that is what social media means in a nutshell, and that is what a social media manager does. Okay, so the next question I'm asked is: are there still opportunities for people to thrive as social media managers in 2025? Yes, definitely. In 2025, there are more than enough opportunities for people to thrive as social media managers, because a lot of businesses would still come into existence this year. A lot of people will get too busy to manage their social media presence by themselves. A lot of people will expand their business and they will need more hands. A lot of people will start social media management or marketing agencies and they will need somebody to handle the clients that come to them. The list is endless, right? So yes, there are still opportunities for people to thrive as social media managers in 2025, as long as business happens and as long as social media exists, there will be need for social media managers. Now, there's one interesting part of this conversation I like to touch that a lot of people are running away from, is the part of artificial intelligence, also known as AI, helping people simplify their work and their process. Will AI deprive you of your job as a social media manager? No. The only people that it gets to deprive are people who are not privy to on how, or who are not equipped rather, on how to use artificial intelligence tools to be able to simplify the process for your customers. Now take this example. If businesses are going to be using AI tools to, create this or that or simplify their process, I'm sure that it will be human beings that would manipulate the machines. It will be human beings that will prompt the AI. Now, it's only human beings with the knowledge of artificial intelligence that would be able to effectively execute those tasks. So when they are laying off people, you that has the knowledge of artificial intelligence, the chances of you being laid off will be very low because you have the knowledge that they need at that particular time, right? So what you should do is you should get ahead of the time, right? You should get ahead of the time. You should be up to date. What is happening in your industry and how can you be ahead? What are the projections in 10 years? What will be the use of social media, of a social media manager in 10 years? What will, if let's say for example, AI takes most of our jobs, where can I fit in still in that space? Because like I said, as long as social media exists, there will always be need for people to handle the activities there. It might be more technical, but it's only those that are equipped that will be able to handle it. So don't be afraid of AI. It makes your process faster and it simplifies the process also. So you can do more work, you can work for more people and execute more in very short time. If you have questions, kindly keep your questions so that when we are done, we'll be able to take those questions. What else? What else? What else? Now, the next question I have here is, how does someone get started with social media management? I'll tell you how I got started with social media management rather, and I'll tell you why I don't recommend my pattern. However, there are other ways you can get started. Now, how did I start? I wanted to be a UI UX designer because I like design a lot, right? And I didn't have a laptop at the time and I couldn't afford a laptop. And I thought to myself, how am I going to get a laptop to learn UI UX design? And I thought of, I spoke with my friends and I thought of social media management, but I didn't even know that it was an already existing concept, right? So I just thought, oh, these people that are in Big Brother, because I was watching Big Brother at the time, I was like, these people that are in Big Brother's house that don't have their phones, but their social media pages are active. It means that there are people behind those pages. So I felt like, okay, since it's social media, maybe it can be called social media management. And that was how the idea came to me. So it's not like I even saw it somewhere before. And I was not as afraid. I was not even afraid to like create it if it were not even in existence. So I went online, I searched, I read a few things about it. I took a course on Allison. I got 80%, it was good. And then I created a page for my friend and I started managing it. I started by reproposing her content and everything. I started from there and then I created a couple of other pages and I was practicing the things that I knew there. And then I started telling people I'm a social media manager. And then they'll bring jobs to me. They'll bring jobs to me. And there's one thing about me, I'm very interested in learning. Can you guys hear me? Can everybody hear me? If you can hear me, drop a comment or drop an emoji. Thank you. So yeah, so where was I? I I started telling people that I'm now a social media manager and I can manage for them. So anytime they asked me, what work have I done? I'll now point them to my friend's page. I'll point them to my friend's page. I'll point them to my friend's page. So they'll look at it and they're like, okay, this is nice. How much do you charge? I remember, no, I'm not going to say it. I'm kidding, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. So I I I started managing from there. But I remember the first time that somebody gave me money to manage their social media page, it was 8,000 naira. I was very excited, right? And then it went from 8,000 to 15,000. And then it went from 15,000 to 25K. And then went from 25K to 30K. And then I went from 30K to just leave me alone at this point. So, yes. So that was how I did that. But after a while, with managing some of the pages, I began to feel very stuck. So I took a digital marketing course, and then I took a digital marketing course, and then I understood it better. So I started implementing more, and then I made it a point of responsibility to learn more, read more, get to know more about social media management on a daily basis. So it's not just about learning social media management once, it's about improving because new things come out every day. And if you don't find that information, if you don't learn more about it, you'd be extinct. You'll be in like 2005 and people are in 2015, right? Or you'll be in 2015 and people are in 2025. That's a huge gap. That's like 10, 20 years gap. So why am I saying all this? It's for you to know that regardless of whatever you learn, to be fair, you need to still keep updating yourself. Now, I will not advise you to do this pattern that I did, because to be fair, I didn't even know better at the time. If I knew better, I would have found a teacher. I would have saved up money to pay for a session or a class that will teach me, so that I don't have to go through the stress that I went through to learn by myself, right? There's no trophy for stress. There's no trophy for who suffer past. And even if there is, me, I don't even want it safe. So that's that. I'm sure that you can still hear me, right? So to get started with social media management, I advise you to take a course, but take a course from a life tutor, a life coach, or a live live mentor, somebody that you can always go back to ask questions, right? That happens a lot with me and some of the people that I teach. They're always coming back to ask questions. People that I taught social media management like a year ago, like 2 years ago, they still come back and they're asking me questions. How can I do this? I'm encountering this problem. What can I do about this? And I answer them. This is because they have contact with me, the person that taught them. If it's a case where you learn on YouTube, it's fine. You might be able to catch some things, but the ones that you don't catch, you might not be able to ask anybody. You might not be able to get access to the person to ask them, right? So I would prefer that you pay for a course where somebody will teach you, and they'll still be able to answer your questions when you need clarity. For me, I have a social media management course. Am I allowed to do this? Okay, yes, I am. So I have social media management courses, two of them. Let me explain it. The first one is called the Social Media Managers Camp, and then the other one is called the Business of Social Media Management. What's the difference? The Business of Social Media Management is only for people who are already social media managers. In that course, they get to understand how they can get clients, how they can reach more people to be able to pitch to them and get them to be clients. Step by step process. That one is not hard. Like 14 days, you are done. But the social media managers camp is a 10-week course. It's a 10-week course. So for 10 weeks, you'll be doing trainings, you'll be assigned tasks, right? So you are taking your trainings and you're also doing tasks that will enable us know what you are. In fact, while you are doing those tasks, you encounter challenges, you encounter problems. In those encounters, you'll be able to ask questions. If we just teach you without giving you task, you most likely would leave the camp, and when you're done, you encounter more problems self that might be very overwhelming, and you might feel like you can't do it anymore. So if you want to take the social media management, any of the social media management courses, or you want to take both of them, that's fine. Speak to Mary about it and would let you know how to go about that. Right, so are there any more questions? Are there any more questions? Can you hear me? Are there more questions? If there are more questions, please let me know. Are there more questions? I'm looking. Are there more questions? Are there more questions, and can you hear me? Can you hear me? Are there more questions? So yeah, you want to be a social media manager, reach out to Mary and then get the course. It's very affordable. It's very affordable. It's currently 15,000 naira. It's currently 15,000 naira. It might go up, but reach out to Mary. 15,000 naira for the social media managers camp, because you are not a social media manager yet. And then for those who want to go into the business of social media management, also let us know, let Mary know, and then I would communicate every other thing that you need to know to her. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, and thanks for having me.